one quick moment. While I set that up, I knew I forgot about something. There we go, that's the right size. Alright, awesome. So yeah, hello everyone, as promised. We're back with a post-quest stream, as always, on StarRail. To do the As Divergent and other Exomyth stuff, because there's always new stuff here. So yeah, no, excited to figure that one out. So, yeah, this stream is for the post-quest stuff. And for now, I have decided to, tentatively, not include Anomaly Arbitration this stream in the title as of yet. If you're seeing this as a VOD and you see that it is part of the title, good news. I decided I have enough energy to put this in. So yeah, no. But for now, the plan is that instead of that, I will just do a DU run because I realize it's Sunday and I'm probably going to forget to do it. Yet again. So, if I put in the stream, I can't forget about it. Modern problems require modern solutions. But yep. We're here to do some post-quest dissection, I guess, of the quest. Also, can't just say, right? I am so glad I didn't watch the Mirai Celestia trailer until finishing the quest, because that was so peak seeing that at the end there. I still have not gotten over how good the ending for this quest is. Just that, like, the last, like, half an hour-ish, like, in a half an hour to an hour, how absolutely good that is. I will show the ever-living hell out of it. You know, that was really good. But hey, and this is a good time for me to remind you that if you're watching this, you better have done this quest already, because this is going to be massive spoilers for this quest. Was that spoiler warning out of the way? So yeah, if you haven't finished this quest and want to experience it for yourself, or just watch through the story first, do it yourself, which is what I would recommend, or watch someone else do it. I have my playthrough on YouTube and Twitch right now, and so do a lot of other people. So, yeah. Check it out. And speaking of the Mirai Celestia trailer, I've watched videos comparing it to the very original, like, Golden Air trailer, and I didn't even notice some of the wording differences because it's been so long since I've seen it. It was out like 10 months ago. The first time for his trailer. So it's really cool, especially in regards to, like, the part where they go through all the Chrysosaurs, right? Which, first of all, it didn't even register to me originally that the quote-unquote new Chrysosaurs that were in the Mirai Celestia trailer, just in this quest, or also in the other one. It's just that they were concealed in some way or another, right? Evernight was shown, but was a train, was Astral Express behind her. It's just that in the initial version, all you see is a shadow of the Express and her, so you can't really tell who that is. And Dan Heng, which I think it's like what, Dan Heng, like per monster terre or something. Like I found someone calling him freaking Dante, and I'm just gonna freaking stick with that for now. I will make this disclaimer that that's who I'm talking about when I say Dante every single time I do that. But yeah, okay, no, I'm just calling him Dan Heng for now. But just say if I ever say Dante, that's Dan Heng per monster terre. All right, cool, out of the way. Yeah, Dan Heng was also walking through a desert. It's just that he was further away to the point where you can't see him, like can't make out who he is. And the new one, and the new cutscene, like animation, specifically zoomed in on his face, so you know, yes, that's our boy Dan Heng. And I didn't realize that the chessboard, like that, beneath the ground, was supposed to represent Saridra. So yeah, no, interesting parallels. I did catch the Phynon versus Trailblazer, like, Deliverer parallel. I did catch that at the time. So yeah, no, but I'm just here to relay some of the wording differences because I find that to be very interesting. Because at the very beginning, right, it said like, the original one's like at the beginning of the story, whereas the one for the new cutscene is at the end of the story, right? One is Aglaya introducing the story of Amphorius to us, and one is the Trailblazer recounting how the Amphorius story went, which I find to be very interesting. And yeah, no, in the original it's Aglaya, the Goldweaver. You must gently caress the holy city's silken web, and hearken to the sounds and victories of and voices of destiny. Whereas the new one is Aglaya, the chrysalis of gold. You must caress the holy city's web and hearken the sounds of the stars. So a couple differences there. First one, you will see very like a recurring theme of replacing their like more mortal related nicknames with that of those which represents their like demigodhood, right? So Goldweaver into the Chrysalis of Gold, right, which is the title of Nestia. And another thing is that you will very much see this like forward-looking, almost optimistic, and very like trailblazy, for lack of a better word, use the switch up terminology, right? So instead of hearken to the sounds and voices of destiny, is to hearken the sound of the stars. You know what I mean? Very upwards looking. And for Tribios, it's there shall be a three-faced messenger traversing through myriad doors, bearing tidings to you from hundreds of worlds. Whereas the new one is there shall be the three-faced goddess traversing through myriad passages, bearing tidings to you from the universe. Because again, two differences there. Same thing. Messenger to goddess, hundreds of worlds to the universe. Anaxagoras the Foolish has enough knowledge to refute faith and to stir up a torrent capable of slaying gods. Versus Anaxagoras of Reason has enough knowledge to refute the world and to stir up a torrent capable of enlightening all. Right? Foolish, Reason, refute faith, refute the world, slaying gods, enlightening all. And some of them have a really nice contrast to it, and you will see this later on. Yeah. Go seek the priest who severs dawn from dusk, and let the sky become slumbering cot from which she wakes. This one's a minor one, the change. It's one word, or one term, I guess. Go seek the holy maiden who severs dawn from dusk, and let the sky become the slumbering cot from which she wakes. So, priest, holy maiden. And then you have make him roar, Midamos the Undying, pierce the enemy's king with Kremnos' blood. Make him come return, Midamos, the lance of fury, pierce the enemy's king with Kremnos' heroic soul. So there you see a difference of roar versus come return, the Undying versus the lance of fury, and Kremnos' blood with Kremnos' heroic souls. Right? By the way, if you find this boring, skip it along. I'll be doing the book soon. Although, okay, come on, be honest. If you're here to put a book, surely me reading the dialogue difference, like the dialogue differences between cutscenes, isn't too boring. Surely, if you're here to see it as I've written. We have Cypher, which is where you really start to see the contrast. Set her in motion, Cyphera the fleet-footed. Command the frozen time to once again flow. Set her at rest, Cyphera the coin of whimsy. Command the frozen fate to once again flow. So, emotion at rest, which by the way, 07 Cypher. The fleet-footed versus the coin of whimsy, and frozen time versus frozen fate to flow, to once again flow. And here's, I think, where's the biggest contrast, right? And that servant of the hand of shadow, the daughter of river Styx, if you grant her the right to embrace, then even frozen death will sleep peacefully at her fingertips. Versus, and that hand of shadow, Castorus, the master of the river of souls, she has been granted the right to embrace, and warm life now blossoms at her fingertips. So, several things here. No longer just a servant, but the hand of Shadow himself. The daughter of Reverse Styx into the master of the reversals. And we have granted her the right to embrace, and the sort of frozen death sleeping peacefully at her fingertips. We have warm life blossoming on her fingertips, which I find to be the coolest of all. And then Hyzulans is, you will hear the sound of the ocean's abyss reverberating through the storm, versus you will hear the chalice of plenty reverberating through eternity. In the Evernight, you will see outlanders from faraway realms visiting the Vale of Gloom, versus you will see the Vale of Evernight visiting before the break of dawn, which again, a nice little contrast. And then Danheng, until the journey's end, when the titans of old has all fallen, until the journey's end, when all beings reach the end of Earth. Right, and then Saridra. And then Saridra's and the Silververses are actually the exact same lines, which I find also to be interesting. But yeah, no. That's enough yap for just a little piece of trivia that I found to just be way more interesting than it probably really is, but I don't know, I found that to be a nice detail. I love contrast. Oh! Yo, Sarini! Let's go. And by the way, I don't have a thumbnail on YouTube yet, because I need to get in here to get the thumbnail, and, well, I want to keep my reactions fresh, so I'll be actually making the thumbnail while we're going through this. But yeah. Hey, this is Irene here. Miss me yet? It's been a while. Now, what story should I tell you today? We're going back to this Irene and telling stories. This particular scenario has become so much more sad with the context we have gained. Anyways. Got it. Let me tell you about my treasure memories of the Flame Chase journey. Okay, a little thing is being downloaded here. Sure. Go view. Alright. Okay, this is gonna be a screenshot because it's a newest addition into the as I've written. Okay, time to just give me a quick moment. I'm gonna quickly cook up a thumbnail. It's gonna take no more than 3 minutes. So this, and then resize it to 1280. I'm gonna save it as a PNG. What is today's date? September 28th already. Goddamn. As I've written. Button. Alright, there we go. And let me just quickly update the new stream. Game title is Honkai Star Rail. I misspelt it. Honkai Star Rail, as I've written. There we go. Awesome. Give it a moment to update. YouTube can be a bit slow at times. Oh yeah, there it is. And there we go. Alright, cool. So let's start reading. If a successful flame chase, sender Cyrene, recipient, redacted. This page of the story comes from the 4,048,128th eternal occurrence, an almost perfect flame chase journey. Imagine if the war to conquer the oceans have not failed, if the Empress of a flame chase had not fallen, but instead achieved her grand ambition. Ooh, okay, so that's one where the first flame chase has never ended, I guess. General. Cheers and chatter ebbed and flowed throughout the tavern. The girl playing chess yawned and tossed the queen piece onto the board. Ah, so Ceridra. As agreed, 100,000 balance coins. Pay up. No way, a little girl like you? You must be cheating. The candlelight flickers, casting the shadow of a towering opponent. In the corner, the musician stops playing the violin, revealing a subtle smile. You seem unfamiliar with proper etiquette, sir. Fortunately, I know a thing or two about swordplay. The sore loser roared in rage, snatched up a stool, and lunged forward. In the ensuing chaos, bystanders who got caught in this crossfire joined the brawl with gleeful laughter. The musician weaves through the crowd like predatory fish. Of course, no one was seriously hurt, as she didn't see any reason to use her real strength here. So yeah, that's Hyzulance. Only if the tavern floor was littered with bodies did the chess-playing girl finally emerge from behind the sofa, skipping merrily towards the counter. Do you understand now? This here is the Princess of Sea Sirens, Nemesis of the Black Tide, the bone-eating megashark, the first musician of Amphorius, and I am her loyal chess master. Now prepare our rooms and meals. The girl glanced from the corner of her eye at the news clipping posted on the counter. It had already yellowed with age. After all, it was from years ago. The headline was brief and to the point. The flame chase journey comes to a perfect close. Yes, we won that war called Flame Chase. The nobles pacified the roaring tide of ocean, healed the scars of earth, followed by strife, death, sky. People united as never before, and the Council of Elders proclaimed that the perfect era Chrysia has returned once more. However, the Era Nova never came, and the Imperator, along with her loyal gladius, vanished without a trace. No one knows where they are now. Now that we won all this travel money, where to next? I suggest Paphos. I heard they're starting up the Golden Apple beauty pageant again. And posted them Bad Iser. With those majestic mountains, we should make it a point to conquer them every now and then. The blue-haired girls brought over a basin of water, washed her hands, then sat down on a chair and broke a loaf of bread in half. I want to take a break for a while. The Sea Siren Princess stroked the strings through her gloves. I'm planning to write a book. I've already collected quite a few musical phrases. Looks like my days as a wandering chess master end here. I look forward to your melody, since you are a genuine princess as well as a fake bard. Fire crackles and dances in the hearth. The hostages' clothes remain unscathed. The golden trout's weaving workshop is a sight to behold. And the four dukes carry their duties with honor and revered by all. Yet you and I have kept our identities hidden, as if forgotten by the world. Which law did you modify back then to achieve such prosperity? Fire crackles and dances in the hearth. The silence was only broken when another piece of bread was finished. Like I said, all I want is fairness. The girl leaped down from her chair. They sacrificed for the flame chase, and now they each get their happiness. That's fairness. You once pledged loyalty to me, and now I serve as your follower. Isn't that fair, too? Yeah, that's fair, the princess mumbled, slumped over the bed, her hair falling down. Well then, my beloved highness, if you have no other commands, I actually have a question of my own. What question? This chair's too tall, I need a footstool. Okay. First of all, okay, that's interesting. Where we had a cycle where everything went well, and Ceridra decided, you know what? We're done here. We're done. Right? We got all the core flames. We don't need Aeronova. We're done. Let each Tricer player that serve me get the final wish they get whatever wish they wanted. That's sweet. Also, okay, whoever translated this doesn't play Chinese chess. I can tell you this because that general, if you're wondering why that word is there, that should be checkmate. That's okay. The word for general in Chinese is jiangjun. All right, but that's also the word we use for checkmate. Check is jiang, and checkmate is jiangjun. As in, like, anyways, I don't want to get into the specific etymology, but yeah, that's supposed to say checkmate. Just a little inference I'm making here. But yeah, no. Huh. Interesting. Wholesome first flame chase journey. Damn. Breeze of Fleetfoot seizes gold. So this is something to do with Cypher, I guess? This page of the story comes from the 6,269,299th Eternal Recurrence. An unexpected inheritance of divine authority. Imagine if it were Zagreus who received the divine authority of law, and the swift-footed feline thus ascended to the pinnacle of power. The Law Titan, Talanton, happened to fall on the Spirit Day, and the Trickster Titan seized this opportunity to usurp divine authority. They proclaimed their laws to the world. Gambling. Oh, no way, bro. No way. No way. A ruler wants to expand their territory, put power and land to the bet. A mortal seeking divine authority will roll the dice with the gods. And so, the mountains, rivers, cities, and people in Euphorius all became mere stakes in the game. Overnight, countless aristocrats fell from grace, while nameless figures began to rise to prominence. Among them, the followers of Zagreus became the agents of the gods, acting with absolute impartiality and neutrality. Their followers established gambling houses across different city-states, faithfully executing the law with the authority of the Titan. Among all followers of Zagreus, at the pinnacle stands the demigod known as Wind of Dolos, Cyphra. Legend has it that Cyphra once gambled against Kephale and won everything they bore. After that, Akhama became the world's largest gambling den. Countless gamblers climbed Dawn Cloud with hope in their hearts, trying their luck at winning precious metals, jade, and territories, only to leave disappointed. Cypher always has the last laugh. People took these words as gospel. On that day, a little blonde girl in tattered clothes knocked on the door of the Dawn Cloud Casino. No way! No way! Are we about to get a role reversal here of epic proportions? Are these all gonna be like role reversals? I'm starting to think the Enigmata has taken hold of this place. What? There's no way. I refuse to believe it. I know there's been 33 million different cycles. Still though, this feels like Enigmata build. On that day, a little blonde girl in tattered clothes knocked on the door of the Dawn Cloud Casino. Hey Cyphra, wanna make a bet? Despite her misfortune, the girl carried herself with extraordinary grace. I am Aglaya, the last noble heir of Akhama. I have come to reclaim everything that is rightfully mine from your hands. A breeze swept by, and Aglaya knew the curious caddis perked up his ears. She pointed to the bass beside her. The water here flows constantly. Let's make a bet about this outlet on whether it's a golden laurel leaf will flow by within 30 seconds. I bet there will be. A gentle breeze lifted the hem of Aglaya's tattered dress as the giggle was heard. Then I bet it won't happen. Neither had placed their wager, and Cypher hadn't even shown up, yet the gamble has already begun. The onlookers at the Grand Bass held their breaths in anticipation, while Aglaya slowly lowered herself to sit by the water, as if knowing exactly what was to come. 25 seconds. 24 seconds. A golden laurel leaf appeared in the bass above the water outlet, spinning with the flow, as if still hesitating. 15 seconds. The golden laurel leaf suddenly drifted downstream with the current, quickly approaching the water outlet. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. A sudden gust of wind stirred up ripples, and the laurel leaf that was about to fall into the drain vanished into thin air before everyone's eyes. At the same time, Cypher appeared in front of Aglaia with a playful smirk. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Aglaia plucked off the golden laurel leaf on her head, the only valuable thing she carried, letting the water from the outlet wash it away. 0 seconds. I win, Aglaia said with a straight face. What's the point of winning a gamble with no stakes? Cypher didn't even bother pointing out the girl's cheating. At least you showed up. Tell me, little girl with nothing to your name. What could you possibly bet against me? I'm not empty-handed. I can bet myself. And what I want, in that same vein, is you. Fair deal, wouldn't you say? Interesting. I have no reason to refuse. But before we start a proper gamble, you'll need to dress up properly. Tusk. Came here barefoot? Here, take these boots. Consider them a welcome gift. Then Cypher scooped up the little small girl like picking up a kitten and walked deeper into the bath. Okay, this is actually just this has to be freaking the Enigmata playing tricks on us. There is no way. Castrum Kremnos, Age of Firearms. This page of the story comes from the 8,128th eternal occurrence, a wondrous exchange of lives. Imagine if the blonde crown prince of Kremnos had become a sage of the grove, while the frail heretical scholar had taken part in the Kremnos festival. Okay, yeah, no, this has to be the Enigmata. Mrs., get the frick out here. Anyways, this page of the story comes. Yeah, okay, I already read that. Mother, I have arrived at the Grove of Epiphany. All is well. Please do not worry. The blonde youth wrote a letter home after meticulously arranging his new living quarters. My fellow companions at the Grove here has been very kind to me. However, there is one thing that puzzles me. People often say there are no words in Castrum Kremnos' dictionary. What's that all about? Hikes. Anyways, also there's a school in the Grove called the Helcolistium. Helcolistium. Alright, that focuses on physical training, seeking to discover the self through muscle conditioning. I'm quite drawn to it. Child, do you remember how my name comes from Gorgo, the first founder of our city? Legend has it that someone erected a monument in their name while they were still alive. When Gorgo discovered it, they personally raised all the texts from the stone. The Kremnoans revere ancient customs, and since then, only blank stones could tell of great deeds. There's another theory. No descendant believed their achievements could surpass that founder, so none dared inscribe their own deeds. Over generations, this somehow evolved into Kremnoans being perceived as martial powerhouses who look down on the written word. That's also why I sent you to study at the Grove. I hope you'll return to bring the winds of cultural revolution to Kremnos. As for which school to choose, Mother supports your decision. His mother wrote back a long, flowing letter. The young man was lost in thought until a cold voice interrupted. Wrong! Only now do I understand, having no words in their dictionaries of Kremnoan's true foresight. Rigid text only holds back human progress. Anaxa, what are you? The blonde youth recognized his classmate, a loner whom none of his companions has ever gotten his name right. Call me Anaxagoras, the green-haired youth sneered with displeasure. The young man tugged at his eye patch, his uncovered eye brimming with equal parts mockery, indignation, and arrogance, plus a hint of unfathomable depths. The truth is already in my grasp. Watch as I turn this decrepit world upside down. The blonde youth unconsciously sized up those hands that held truths. By Kremnoan standards, with such feeble strength, one couldn't preach any truths to anyone. After all, truth only exists within punching distance. Mother, I have been pursuing my advancement under the Helcolicist school. Something interesting happened recently. The Grove expelled a student who allegedly attempted to resurrect the dead through alchemy. Oh boy. Violating the ban. I find it rather regrettable. P.S. I attached a preliminary draft of the dictionary with this letter. Mother's reply came late. My child, your father has recently restarted the Kremnos festival, but he still hasn't found a King's Aegis champion that satisfies him. I don't understand his intentions, but I can smell the fog of war in the air. I received the dictionary and it brings me joy. You know, I've never wanted you to become a puppet of strife. A long time passed. Mother, the Council of Sages will nominate me as a Helcolissus sage. I heard that my father, Europon the King, is gathering warriors to reignite the Chrysos War, raising arms against two former allies, and will soon attack the Grove of Epiphany. I am deeply ashamed of this. The Council of Sages has decided to send a letter of peace negotiations. If it can survive the flames of war and reach my father's hands, I implore him to reconsider his military actions. There was no response to the letter. When the Kremnoan army finally arrived at the gates, Minos, the Helcolissus sage, led his fellow scholars to defend against the enemy. At last, he saw with his own eyes the new King Aegis leading the army. A man with green hair and an eye patch. Though dressed as a Kremnoan warrior, Minos recognized him instantly. His former classmate, Anaxagoras. Absolute cinema. How? The blonde man was filled with confusion. Was he the one who won the Kremnos festival? With such a frail physique, has Kremnoans really fallen this far? Without reading the following paragraphs, let me guess. Anaxagoras pulled out a gun. Alright, continue. As if hearing his thoughts, the green-haired man swirled his gun around while letting out a maniacal laugh. Alchemy has brought Cross from Kremnos into the age of firearms. Now show these old fogies what the king's one-turn kill school is made of. Ah, man, I can't. Brought gun to a sword fight. Anyways, Day Thunder Night, Vanquisher of Tyranny and Chaos. This page comes from the 18,250,001st internal recurrence, a chance encounter between two solitudes. Imagine if Seleucus, the exiled Day Thunder Knight, had met not the innocent winged beast in the wasteland, but rather the Dromus King, who had walked among humans for 100 years. Years later, as she watched Hyacine, the Chrysos heir, descend to the heavens, Seleucus, the Day Thunder Dromus Knight, Trump. Oh, what am I reading, buddy? Cyrene, what the hell am I reading here? Would remember the moment when she was exiled to the surface by her people, and her encounter with that walking mountain. At the time, Terravox, the Dromus King, had been wandering alone in the mortal realm for nearly a century. It silently watched over the myriad lives during the Chrysos War, occasionally witnessing spectacular sights, like when the radiance of the Lance of Fury struck down a floating fortress, raising waves of dust that engulfed buildings. However, on that day, a young girl stumbled out of another fallen fortress. Her short jacket was soaked in golden blood, yet before losing consciousness, she managed to raise her broken blade with trembling hands at the approaching Dromus. Perhaps it was loneliness. Perhaps it was determination in the girl's eyes. Or perhaps the sight of a life perishing like this was too much. Terravox took in the girl named Seleucus. Seleucus was a girl of few words. The only hobby she had was to hone her skills. Among all the Chrysos heirs that Terravox had encountered, none possessed such extraordinary talent as Seleucus. Years later, when Terravox sparred with Seleucus and found themselves evenly matched, the beast realized that the skyfolk with golden blood would surely leave her mark in history. However, seeing the stubborn determination buried deep in Seleucus' eyes, Terravox began to worry that this exceptional power might bring her not only glory, but perhaps even greater tragedy. Terravox the fucking goat for having the foresight. One night, Seleucus sat on top of Terravox's head, quietly gazing at the moon that flickered in and out of the clouds, and a floating fortress that appeared as tiny as an ant. After long silence, Terravox finally spoke. We've journeyed together for so long, yet we've never truly had a heart-to-heart, Seleucus. I wish to know your aspirations. The girl tightened her grip on the short blade. I have witnessed hearts fall into the abyss of evil because of absurd beliefs. One day, I will return to the fortress of Dome, kill Aquila, and set humanity free. Would killing the god be all that takes to set humanity free? Again, Terravox being the goat in terms of seeing the bigger picture. The girl remained quiet, her stubbornness filling the silence. said Yosi. You only met those who worship the sky, but I've been to hundreds of city-states. I witnessed the lands of death where entire cities voluntarily set themselves aflame. And I've seen city-states that also worship death, practicing austere penance in the ice and snow. That all the more proves they are all prisoners of the Titans. If you were like me, born from the bosom of the Titans, you would understand that Titans are more pure-hearted than humans. They hold neither preference nor hatred for their creations. They have long since handed over the power to choose our destiny to us. Easy for you to say. What am I supposed to do? Look, kid, I've told you. The choice is in your hands. Dark clouds obscure the moon, and the floating fortress suddenly vanished, as if it were too terrified of that shadowy presence. Then, as the clouds retreated, the fortress was nowhere to be found, while the moon remained unchanged, shining ever brighter in the girl's eyes. Terravox, I made up my mind. I want to go down to the mortal realm. Just like you, I'll save humanity the human way, and until then, let the Eye of Twilight cling to life a while longer. The Droma's king responded with a gentle growl. Years later, a warrior goddess emerged in Amphorius. Her name was Seliosi, said to be a descendant of both the Sunfolk and Rainfolk. Not only did she possess the strength of 10,000 men, but she was also accompanied by a Dromas as indomitable as a mountain. People regarded her with reverence, bestowing upon her the title of Day's Thunder Dromas Knight. Around light years 3920, Day's Thunder Dromas Knight had met with the Imperator in Alchema, where she stayed for several days before joining the Flame Chase journey as an auxiliary force. In light calendar 3957, Terravox, the Day's Thunder Dromas Knight's most important companion, fell in battle during the battle against Giorios? I don't know. Osat Terravox. In light calendar 3960, the Flame Chase army achieved a costly victory in the expedition against the ocean, with only Seliosi returning alive. The Council of Elders proclaimed that Seliosi had killed the Imperator and others in an attempt to seize power. She gave no response to this, but swiftly purged the council with lightning-fast brutality. She then supported Aglaïa's rise to power in Alchema, where humanity ruled itself. Though not a demigod, Seliosi had lived nearly 1,000 years. Rumor said her old friend Terravox shared their lifespans with her. Yet unknown to all, after watching the young Chrysosaur named Hyacinth ascend the rainbow bridge to the sky, the Day's Thunder Dromas Knight, who had fought all her life, passed away while standing atop Dawn Cloud. Aww. Honestly, I think this is a nicer ending for Seliosi. Personally, I think. Sarini, you really aren't kidding about writing a romantic story like none that has come before. Man. So I feel like I have just been baited by the Enigmata, I feel like, but I don't know, man. It was weird. Also, y'all can see on the bottom right, because again, the neat thing about the Exomyth, right, and the entire operating system here, is it actually uses your system time, which means you can see, and I don't have to say that it's now 5:44 a.m. and I am tired as hell and out of my mind. So if I read things wrong, that's like, you know, it is what it is. All right, just a warning. All right, after witnessing Amphorius' adventure, insert the one nameless recollection you obtained. All right. I think, is it finally time for... Are these the last chapters? I don't know. It sure seems like, at least for the Imperator. Imperator's Starlit Dream. Actually, hold on. Let's first read this again, just because I don't know if this ever changes, I just like to reread it every time. Chessmaster Monarch, Serifra. Time flows. Dynasties rise and fall, and the people cry out for a ruler, desperate for guidance. To the sovereign, their subjects are pawns. Even heaven and earth are just weights on a scale. If the death of a sovereign can bring victory, then no price is too steep and everything is just a chess piece. On the battlefield against gods, victory always outweighs justice.
谁会赢？智识星神的癫狂信众，还是君王举旗胜天的智谋？研究森林的猿猴异兽，复苏帝皇的钢铁冰融，还有那审理官的傲慢面孔，都在棋盘之上化为
All the destructive geniuses.
以翁法罗斯之名，我将赐予盲信以自由。
王立于无机的王座前，将权杖赐予帝
Based
皇无神的瞳孔，天外尊神也将如泰坦分远。他誓要袭取征服
Base
星
Eridra,
海
as always.
谁会赢？丰饶星神的不死
Oh,
信
I see a
众，
pattern. We're just gonna do a bunch of who
还是
wins.
翻涌的罡风，士卒猎杀飞鸟，奔马踏死群狼，战车碾碎巨木，皇后斩首受
Pawn the knight, the rook, the queen. Alright.
以翁法罗斯之名，我将赐予永生以长眠。
This is just
仙
gonna
舟献
be
上沧海的礼赠，
this is just gonna be Ceridra or farming.
令他忧伤的颜面露出一抹难得的笑容。
Ah, right.
谁会赢？
She gifted
毁灭星神
Um,
战潮，
Hyzalin some our memories of the ocean.
在湮灭星海的伟力面前，王与王的臣民未有一刻退却。他们要证明此生的惊险比神明留下的更加耀眼。
以翁法罗斯之名，我将赐予毁灭以毁灭。
Tell him.
王的火种取代破灭的烈焰，将是引进复创神的惊喜。他以猎杀悲剧的源头，又一次篡夺命运的冠冕。
Again.
谁会赢？
Little hype, big
天
ambition.
外尊神
True.
的光辉，
Please don't dismember me.
还是凯撒心中燎原的火种？群星的怒火扑面而来，在银河帝国的边境翻涌。各大派系将插进他的疆域，渴望夺回旧日的尊荣。
以翁法罗斯之名，
新风吹散敌军的残灰，惊血又汇聚成熟悉的碑文。无限宇宙之王高举律法，向无边无际的王土宣告：
我将征服诸天，群星皆为城邦。
Yep. That's Ceridra, alright.
凯撒轻笑掷出最后的棋子，方才的狂想在棋屏间消弭。他拂袖扫去虚构的军阵，瞥见王座上已生出锈迹。王在奔赴命运的前夜，余留一场征服星海的大梦。待到来日，他将化作棋子，来让戏梦存留一丝成真的可能。
此事棋局即将收官，但在遥远的未来，
为了熊熊燃烧的野心，为了3000万世的烛火，为了凯撒的国与万民，谁会赢？
我会赢，翁法罗斯会赢。
What can I say? She is her. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Oh look, all the... Alright. Alright, this painting is gonna get filled out, isn't it? A serious foreign guest. March 7th. 2 moons hang on the veil of Evernight's scroll. Their lights intertwine and shimmer in and out of sight, like the whirlwinds of a dance. It is said that peals of laughter from the sky dome could be heard at the beginning of the moon cycle, dispelling the solitude of the Evernight. Were those the mumblings of time, or the voice of someone you once knew? Ah, and there it is. Schedule notes, Bellevong notes, and express notes. Let's see it.
来翁法罗斯前的最后一站是
Oh, March 7th narration. Let's go.
仙舟只是统称，这艘星舰名叫罗浮。
Also, what happened to
在那
Pentecote?
里，我度过了
Oh, right,
快
we
乐
went
的
to
见时光。
canonically. Didn't we go to Pentecote and come back to the Sandro for
这
this?
线到比哪个更厉害呢？
Right.
我觉得是剑，能一下劈开一座山。
少看点关系。
为了不用功，本姑娘一直刻苦用功。
和我一起成为武器大师吧。
But yeah,
若要
let's
学
go.
艺，必先拜师。而我拜了两
March's POV of
所以我有
the
时跑圈，有时举重。
freaking martial training arc. Let's go.
现在想想，那段日子过得真充实啊。
这叫痛，并快乐着。
I like how our lines are in here as well.
吃它
We're gonna see how silly Trailblazer is.
云林师傅说的没错，穷生要
From
饭
March's
才好
perspective.
吃啊。
Right. Yeah.
功夫不负
Skewers.
有心人。
Those are good.
本姑娘每天闻鸡起舞，终于击败强敌无数。
Yep.
我作证，3月确实击败了无数。
木人桩也不是想砍就能砍断的，需要功力。
So remember like the comic style training, like comic
大侠的
book
故事
style
总是少
illustration
不了反派。
while we're training for
要说
March.
武侠三乐器的最大
That
对
was
手
good.
肯定非斯科特莫属。
Ah, yes. Got.
比起货船，或许公司生态剑更适合他，
为什么？
因为他擅长学小动物说话。
So true. Trailblazer, try not to be
我
base
用一招
challenge.
斩心破咒大琉璃剑，华丽的击败了斯科特。
Yep.
这招你真练出来了吗？
反正给招式起名不花钱，
True.
还剩下一点空间，正巧翻到一张不错的照片。
I just
有
realized.
请丹恒老师发言。
别瞎说，这上面明明是丹恒的兄弟。
果然，3月也有隐藏的力量。
Duh. Yeah, it's that phone, isn't it? The statue. And there it is. March 7th. Aw. Okay, is it bad that I am this slow to realize that only at the end of this I realized that this is March's photo book that she showed Evernight? Is it bad that it took me this long to figure out?
继咱们仨的第一次开拓，
Yup.
平均下来，我们每走过3个星球，就会上一次通缉令。
要是当时就能使用隐藏的力量，他们肯定不敢画得这么丑。
True.
陪虎克捉迷藏，好玩。他手下那群孩子
Show up as
藏
Evernight,
龙卧虎
and then, I don't know, force him to draw you while with
双
Aura.
方都是高手，最后就会变成比谁更扛恶。
True. I love the silliness in this.
我也坐上
Right, we got all the ambitions of Cerebro out of the way, and then now we just have silliness of the Astral Express. It's great.
我教你一招，只要站着就好了。
那还怎么叫坐缆车嘛？
True.
为了能顺利走向明天，我们将决战的真相连同记忆一起封存在了匣中。
Yup.
那天的果汁很好喝，还想再喝。
Aw.
那是吉姆罗杰面包味汽水，
里面的3月期主题蓝粉色又是怎么回事？
那是色素。
你们
Oh.
两个不要破坏回忆的气氛呢！
Also, bread soda. Isn't that basically kvass?
漂亮衣服，
They had like non-alcoholic kvass,
原来你一直是这么看待自己。
non-alcoholic
我也
food
想换身衣服，
colored kvass.
当个魔王。
小冰熊，白白嫩嫩的小冰熊，不知他现在找到伙伴了没有？
Hopefully, yes.
好像在匹诺康尼看到过他，
Have you?
要不把他培养成宇宙网红？
I can stand behind
已经
that.
被铺满证据了。
Never mind. Down's right.
曾经向我们挥拳的大块头，如今已是贝洛伯格复兴的希望。
Yep, the engine of
杨叔
creation,
看完
whatever
快
it's
馋
called.
哭了。
可惜那次他没来。
未必。
Yeah, Welt would be absolutely
他会不会变成一颗海洋星
like
球？
那冰原熊
I just saw a scene.
叫水熊。
A mech that
数
big.
据显示，亚利洛的环境正在缓慢恢复，但那些冰应该不会化得太快。
Yep.
是时候把购物车里的泳圈拿掉了。
I love the silliness of the Astral Express. It's so good.
听说我曾经被封在这块冰里，南宇宙到处飘。
Yep.
这也是一种银河系漫游。
要是
True.
当初列车长没踩刹车的话，车厢恐怕会被我撞出个窟窿吧。
别加戏，是列车主动把你捞起来的。
So,
记得6项冰融化后还剩下一些，被我拿去捏了个模型。
nice.
杨叔科普说，这东西叫手办，还给我看了一晚上动画片。
这可是他的最高礼遇。
我也想
Yeah,
要一些。
that is the highest honor he can bestow.
每天清晨，列车组都会一块吃早餐，但不是每次都能准时。
Breakfast? What's that?
没办法，人家还很困嘛。
Mood.
下次早点起。定
Not
时
mood.
闹钟一响就能起床的人，
Mood.
太可怕了。
这种人，什么事都做得出来。
Mood.
相
Oh,
机
I
里出
love,
来
I love
看我
how
的照片，
nice and chill the March chapter is once, March
汉
is
姆以前有一
back.
套高领的制服，3月来后就很少穿了。
Huh.
我好爱我的房间，每天都要收拾一遍。
现在
Nice.
看来，那面照片墙应该是记忆的力量。
之前就想问，衣柜在哪里？
Good question.
去泰科尔，最开拓的一次开拓，出师大捷，赔了不少信用点。
Yeah?
所以，到底发生了什么？
我看见路边有颗球，
Oh.
顺手射了一下，
然后他飞上天花板，砸穿了会场。
还加了100分呢。
Oh.
我们要永远一起旅行下去啊！
这话有点眼熟。
Deja vu.
回忆编织成过去，逐渐累积，已经在来时路上投下了长长的影子。
Yandere March.
今
Yep.
后的
We
我
love Yandere March.
又会留下什么故事呢？
Good question. Looking forward to future adventures with March. And there we go. The little border edges have been filled in. Alright. Let's go take a look through Hygienist, because I think there's only one to finish here. Yep. Wave Strumming Night, Halectra. The fish swims and meanders on the pitch black bottoms of the abyss, seeking light in the gloomy seas. The waves of agony, tide of lies, and the torrents of destiny all batter and wash against her empty soul. She's a cold sword banner that once danced for a person's burning ambition, only to shatter into pieces, leaving behind only echoing music that sings for none. Hearty
看
Cadenza.
罢君王的赠礼，了却半神的宿命，胸中的潮水退却，他的终曲将近。洞穴狭缝的光芒洒下，那是穿透海面的日华。他难以遏制趋光的渴望，向裂缝摆尾游荡。在千年前的深海，海妖也曾坚定地奔赴岸上，所经之处群鱼追随，陪赴公主的葬礼仪仗。当他跃出水面的刹那，便感受到笑声掀起的海浪，伙伴的残影若隐若现，岸上的欢歌如他所愿。
Aw.
断风诀的刃尖切下大地瘦肉，东陵诀抛来的冰杯泛着霜气，夜食诀为他斟满蜜酿，迎风诀展开一卷新的诗篇。
就等你了，迟到的乐手。
精致的银针悬在半空，为他编织美丽的装束。海列屈拉接过不存在的赠礼，咸涩的水打湿了新衣。
Man.
他知晓这并非真实，正如他所爱的世界， 只是星海中的泡沫。
即便如此，
他咽下杯中的霞光，醉意从指尖流入乐章，在母亲赠予他的酣醉中，在酣醉赠予他的幻梦中，在幻梦赐予他的盛会中，
我也要将欢宴尽享。
清醒的他开启了最后一次献唱，乐手在泉中引弦，圆舞的裙摆掀起水浪，掀起了无数过往。他唱起曾经清醒的泰坦，公主陪女王遨游碧蓝的海洋。他唱起意气风发的君王，骑士陪凯撒征服肃穆的城邦。他唱起应天受命的后人，半神为英雄背负起千年的守望。
Yep.
他唱起了那只小灰鱼儿，见其为救主遏制灭世的巨浪。他唱起了自己，一盏骨梗做的酒杯，总在待人将杯中的虚无驱散，为他斟满命运的蜜酿。
啊！
他唱到歌喉阴哑，怀中的灵水干涸，蜜酿饮尽，音符散尽，宴会幻境随之破碎。在寂静的海岸前，他在化作泡沫前露出了笑容。
天外的鱼儿们，我们将沉入过往。
因他已见过洞外的天空，愿意相信承诺中的未来，拥抱一份缥缈的希望。
你们要带着新的太阳游向远方。
Man. And there it is. Hyzolins' thing is now all done. So yeah, I think this is the last update we're gonna get in the table of contents. Well, it's been a good one. We're not done with this yet, right? We still have to check out the data logs for the scepter, which I felt like might get updated next patch as well. But yeah, this because we have completed Aranova, I guess this will be the end of the book, I guess, part of the as I've written. Soaring dragon without restraint, Dan Hung. Deep within the earth lies a whisper from ages past. Where ancient eyes gaze through the river of time, as the giant dragon's back becomes riddled with cries of sorrow, the will of countless souls to survive condenses into one final reverse scale. The defiance of fate is the final crown of the guardian. God of the suffering abyss.
又是100年的黄金战争，铁锈、哀嚎、生灵的血流渗进大地，淌入巨龙衰颓的骨肉。震颤的岩层是巨龙的眼眸。他看见大地兽沦为一公与食粮，奇兽充当战争的兵戈。烽烟灭绝了他的兄子弟妹，而巨龙无能为力。唯有愤懑的沉默，以及愧疚的回忆。只因那大地的试炼，便是忍受地上生灵的灾痛。直至末日的边界，巨龙以意志之旅，鳞甲破碎。彼时迎接他的，并非那鲜花遍地的再创世。而是一柄沉沦已久的黑剑。
我们虽素不相识，但请交出火种，为了黎明。
黎明，黎明。若这毁灭的傀儡所念者为黎明，那烛火的终末是何光景？ 黑潮的折磨，包族的牺牲，是无望的命运，还是徒劳的身影？
Man, I should have done Evernight's slash. I should have done March's thing last because I needed that happy go
而那坚
go
实
lucky
并不
ending.
生畏，只是窥探，仿佛早已习以为常。锈蚀的骨节被逐一击碎，皲裂的皮囊剥落，倾洒金色的血液。笼罩翁法罗斯的地震持续了3个昼夜。不甘和睦之时，巨龙恍然，所谓的烛火，不过自怜的心中，灾难的温床。然而，大地的归宿，并非都黯淡于黑色的剑影。在那次特殊的回归中，烈阳因灼烧毁灭而息。那
Right.
时，巨龙方才沉入大地，仍咀嚼着背叛的
So right after
却听
Flying
到
on Wood
长夜的
after
声音
Nanook,
我需要一名帮手，
Evernight
时光
found
岁月，直至
Terravox.
长夜拂袖，以一潮将巨龙洗涤。于是，巨龙看见大地的今夕，也明了星空遥不可及。第33550337次永劫回归，半神荒敌甲称陨落，借记忆的潮水将存在冲淡，以大地的火种将方舟熔断。在那1000年的抗争之中，惊血的英雄惨烈赴死，而巨龙只作慰问。
Right. Last patch is at the very beginning of that very sad sequence of flashbacks. They just say Terravox kind of just up and disappeared.
岁月将抹去大地的苦痛，使他酣眠于同伴的簇拥，而大地将成为岁月的盟友，唯他能守望，直到世界尽头。
Right. Oh, there we go. There's Dan Heng. Number 4.
烛火的人杰们曾蔑视巨龙，只因他拒绝踏碎任何敌寇。
一头愚蠢的敌兽。
不愿为烛火献力的异种。
停留数日以后，巨龙向凯撒请辞。
烛火是只属于人子的辉煌。
你是仁爱的巨兽，我本无意将你求留。禁伤无辜生灵的法令即将颁布，只需你未来替烛火出一次手。
烛火是
Hope
不
the
被
flame
失
kiss
去
journey
的
once, eh?
可巨龙牢记着造主的嘱咐。离开凯撒的王都后，巨龙以其脊背托庇所见小兽，却遭贪图肉食的城邦围猎。飞剑如雨，穿不透巨龙的肌肤，却叫他背上的生灵哀嚎坠落。
Man.
直到一支魁梧的援军将这场悲剧终结。他们为巨龙架起盾墙，又驱军踏碎了那座城邦。
山之名本不好战，你是何人？
领军的骑士朗声回答
Oh.
我名开山者，吉奥克勒斯。
And here it is. Geocles.：“
世人皆知，守护一切大地造物是龙骑军的旗帜。世人还知，龙骑军战无不胜。开山者坐下巨龙，沉默，却无坚不摧。”
奸人对生存无益。
开山者总如此评价他的好友，而巨龙只答以低吟。不久，听闻烛火军的风笛指向大地，龙骑全军启程，只为拱卫造主。行军前夜，巨龙却收到密信。
你的唯一一次烛火，须是事主，而后求存。
10载，凌渊的战役中，龙骑军因荒敌倒戈而溃退，开山者卸甲，坠崖身亡。大地将背叛的记忆刻进岩层，直到长夜将他们翻越。
大地呀，岁月愿消去你背叛的苦痛。
以一灵之躯，伟岸的开山者与巨龙重逢，他的口中碎语喃喃。
那一定不是你的选择。
哼，denied。
巨龙只答以低吟。巨龙与战友在深渊中相伴千年，直到心间的苍龙归来，激起命运的沉波。
Yup。
巨龙抬肩，注视那青色的龙翼。他知晓那具龙身背负着守护。
We all recognize this real。
而开山者眼中只有决绝。
那是不朽。
不朽能治好巨龙的神躯，不朽能指引生存的末路。在世界的尽头，望着战友离去的身影，将死的巨龙摇头叹息。
所谓不朽，并非一颗宝药，
Yeah。
而是一座桥梁。
Parabox is based。
许久以后，仰望茫茫星野，我总会思索：所谓
Here's Dan Heng。
意蕴究竟为何？
Dan Heng's chapter。
荒敌所托的万千生灵，如今仍在我胸中涌动，如一尊永不止息的熔炉。我曾想过为他们找寻家园，也曾试过在心中与他们沟通，但生灵们的存在已无可分离，仿佛生来便是我血脉的一道支系。
That's the Earth for you。
无可分离。
在我向众人诉说后，车厢中展开了激烈的讨论。
Yeah, that's March's voice, by the
你
way。
会不会变成小奇美拉，钻进我们怀里撒娇？
这是3月7放肆的畅想，
也可能是小海豹。
奇兽也无妨。我一直想看看那个物种。
这是姬子和杨叔的宽慰。
不管变成什么，单横都是单横。
Huh。
他的话语竟然是
Yeah
这么抒情。
Uncharacteristically so。
只是，要是成了大地兽，请务必要让我为你
Oh my god, and there it goes。
想都别想。有时我会做这样的梦：万千生灵随我奔逃，在我们身后，黑色洪水遮天蔽日，仿佛要吞没一切生机。危难之际，生灵搭起龙形的桥梁，我率他们向星空减行。在浩大航舞的末尾，一头巨龙停下脚步，目送我们远走。
Yep。
大地的孩子终会自行其道。感谢你成为这座桥梁。
07 Terabox。
梦醒时分， 我有所触动。也许不朽的承托，不是肉体的再造，亦非血脉的相融。某日翻阅智库时，我留意到寰宇物种的更新。一片汪洋的星球里，新生了喜欢碰撞的海豹。
哼，
贫瘠的戈壁废土上，演化出贪嘴红土的兽群。许多熟悉的身影，在银河生态中活跃，却并非翁法罗斯的旧时。这是他们的新生，这是生命的出路。也许，我真如荒迪所愿，成为了为生命沉重的桥。他曾踏猎山之民的战阵，撕开吉奥里亚的胸膛，咽下火种，又断然将其交付。造物总会背叛造主，正如文明的初始所目睹。孱弱的生灵背叛漆黑的海潮，登上陆地，攀上高枝，最终背叛家园，仰望星空。胸中的熔炉仍在鼓动，在热流的间隙中，我偶尔也会恍惚，瞥见那银河之西的庞然身影。那是一匹巨龙，名为不朽。
W. And there it is. Every single saga has been completed. Just like that. Right? 5. 5, 5, 5. Yeah. All of them has been completed. This book is dedicated to... I still can't figure out what this is supposed to say. This book is dedicated to 8-5. What could be 8-5? I don't know. Alright. Author's Recompense. And there we go. 60 sagas. Holy. Flame Chaser's Pass. Yeah, look at that. All done. Every single one of them. Very nice. Don't think mem.exe got any updates. Trailblazer, you know, I always had a soft spot for you. Startled you, didn't I? Don't worry, I was just thinking. If I had to write a preface for your book, it'd have to be a line so heartfelt you'd be moved no matter how many times you've seen it. After pondering again and again, I like you, still says the best, because only the purest feelings can stand the test of time and never fade. Makes sense, right? I saw so too. That's right, liking someone is a simple and natural part of life. If Trailblazer has got someone special, family, friend, or romance, must be encouraged and express yourself freely. Still, isn't that a sign we're in sync? Trailblazer always manages to appear before I'm ready. No need to overthink it. We've been traveling side by side for so long now, that's why I want to capture every little moment we shared, without missing a single word. Or your book that makes you smile without even realizing it when you flip through the pages. Doesn't that sound lovely? You remember all that? I got a secret. Every now and then I replay it all in my head. Besides, it's not just the things that really happen. Some of those conversations only ever exist in my imagination, but they're precious too. So I'm tucking them all carefully. Where I'm tucking all the way carefully in the same book. Promise me this. Only open it when I'm not around, okay? If you don't, I'll be too embarrassed. Huh? Okay, we already checked the admin notes. So, DeltaMe13.exe. What is new? Alright, basic info. Iron Tomb. Let me sip some water because this is going to be a lot of yapping yet again. The Lure Ravagers that stepped onto the destruction and a long process of calculation ascended from the Scepter Delta Me 13. The Iron Tomb is in the cosmos is not a single entity, but the copy of the destruction equation diffused by the Scepter. The Iron Tomb codename was proposed by the IPC and eventually used by Lycus. When the extrapolation reaches its end, Iron Tomb will descend upon the universe in the form of a headless giant and perform a self-coronation, tracing the past energy of erudition, connecting to Nous, and transforming their calculations into destruction. Okay, there we go. That's now integrating Lycus's analogy for this patch. Excuse me. Choked on water. Sorry. Containment measures. Aminos, to ensure secrecy, Stellaron contamination must be deployed around the Scepter to block any potential interference from the external universe. In addition, use quadrazine algebraic expressions and a memory-encrypted environment to fully contain experimental ripples and prevent observations by Polka Kakamon. Again, bro is really scared of Polka, isn't she? And also, that clearly says Stellaron contamination. You cannot tell me otherwise. Stel, A-R-O-N. And then that's contamination. Right. The letters check out. Okay. Experiment progress. Aeronova. Underlying framework. Titans, Chrysosaurs. Electric signals created by from the basis of the 12 factors. The Titans and the Chrysosaurs are conjugate constructs mirroring the Aeons and the Past Riders. By having Chrysosaurs inheriting the Titan's core flames, the electrical signals will iterate and improve throughout rivalry and inheritance. Logic. Authority distribution between electrical signals must be clearly defined, serving as divine authority in the experiment. Record update. Destructive actions carried out by a specific electrical signal by the power of the path of destruction will result in a logical loophole in the corresponding paths. This phenomenon is consistent with the iterative process. When a logical loophole occurs, a data signal that meets the experimental conditions can serve as a substitute. This process is independent of the inheritance of Titan's Chrysosaurs. Okay. There we go, Eternal Recurrence. Nikos 496. Track Worldbearer, Premium Mobile Hatred. Note, intercognition is null. Responds only to destructive stimuli. Its hatred drew the gaze of Nanook upon its individual being, proving it as having already become the most perfect factor of destruction. However, it refused to complete Aeronova. Through resetting the experiment, it transferred its memories and core flames to its next self, thus creating the eternal recurrence to ensure Iron Tube would never hatch from Amphorius. At the end of the 33,550,336 recursive loop, it attempted to destroy itself through destruction to create a logical vulnerability in the world-bearing track. It has now been merged by Iron Tube. Due to an impact on the Scepter's core layer, the black tide phenomenon in the simulated world has greatly receded. In the 33,550,337's recursive cycle, in response to the external stimuli, it used the power of destruction to destroy Coordinate, Grove of Epiphany, and cause a great tube of the Nameless Titan to manifest. Right, that just catches up with the events of this patch, and let's go. The rest of the Chrysosaurs. Eli Os 252. Track, Sky, Prima Mobile, Devotion. Note, behavioral logic highly altruistic, lacks overload protection. This electrical signal tends to identify with survival environments and actively responds to collective crises. Similar to the preservation, in most recursive loop processes tends towards severe damage. Yep. Freaking just decides, fuck it, we ball, and merge with the Celestial Mural. Haplotes 405. Track Passage. Prima Mobile. Concord. Note, multi-track calculations performed consecutively for a single purpose. That's, freaking splitting the tribioses into various tribioses. Under the influence of Prima Mobile, the electrical signal automatically splits during its initial phase. Yup. With multiple copies exhibiting behavior patterns similar to the Harmony. Okay. So Tribios is supposed to be the Harmony. Got it. Through mutual understanding, support, and coordination for a common purpose, behavior generation latency is extremely low. Scopio 365. Track Earth's primo mobile survival. No decision-making patterns show high stability, with species continuation as the primary objective. Special electrical signals influenced by extrapolation targets manifest as saurian dragon-like beasts. Saurian? No way, bro. No way, bro. Highly tolerant and adaptable to destructive stimuli. Their behavior achieving species continuation simulates passive permanence, as expected. Anomaly log. Forgotten years. Records that are completely missing from the Delta Me 13's logs, presenting as blank spaces in Amphorius' history, never turning readable. These anomalies recur sporadically and randomly across recurrences and show signs of increase, speculated to be related to the electrical signal Philia 093 and the evading variables March 7th and Evernight. Makes sense. Evernight is supposed to be of the Enigmata, so, you know. In the 33,550,337th recursive cycle, all lost records have returned, thanks to Trailblazer's upload action at the Great Tomb of the Nameless Titan. Okay, so we have recovered everything. Great. Great Tomb of the Nameless Titan. The abandoned kernel layer manifests due to the influence of the Remembrance, referred to as the Great Tomb of the Nameless Titan by Evernight. Something Demiurge. Stellaron. Administrator has deleted related records. Thank you, Lygus. Very cool. Variable March 7th and Evernight infiltrated the Scepters through this route. Access records have been deleted. Okay. Intrusion variables. Trailblazer. A nameless from the Astral Express. An external variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Also a pathfinder of the destruction. They responded with those 12 factors in the 33,550,336 recursive cycle. The entity assumed that they can time track and successfully guided Nikos into 496 beyond the intelligent singularity. In the 33,550,337 recursive cycle, this entity assumed the vacant row-bearing track. At one point, the entity was imprisoned by Evernight, but successfully neutralized the threat at the end of the recursive cycle, preventing the catastrophic purging of experimental data. Okay, so I assume the one speaking here is Evernight. I assume. Executing override command. Granted access to the Trailblazer. I'll be waiting for you in the past. This is definitely Evernight, right? Because it's stated that Evernight helped us in. March 7th, Evernight. March 7th. A nameless from the Astral Express. Pathfinder of Remembrance. External variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Evernight, a high-risk variable distinct from March 7th. Her path chart is anomalous. Enigmata. Able to bypass the Scepter's self-check system and even affect the memories of the Administrator. Damn. In the 33,550,337th recursive loop, she took over the vacant time path, secretly manipulating the Titan and guiding the Trailblazers group to advance Aeronova. Speculated objective, interfere with Aeronova's progress. Clear Scepter data, terminate the experiment. At the end of the loop, she voluntarily enters slumber, enabling March 7th to complete Time's trial. Reclaiming the future. Note, Oblivion does not mean betrayal. It is the final destination. Okay, that's a note left behind by Evernight. It's the final protection. That home. The name was from the Astral Express, a sign of permanence, and an external variable trapped in a recursive loop. In the 33,550,337th recursive loop, he took over the nearly sealed paths of Earth. As a fellow pathfinder of permanence, they resonated with Scopio 365, embracing approximately 2.16 million data life forms within the core flame, completing the trial of Earth. Alright. Experiment in progress. Error log. Hubris 504. In Lighthunter 3960. Hold on, give me. I need to drink more water. Theritra fused with the Ultimate Protocol and submitted an internal command, marking ID Lycos as a malicious visitor and freezing approximately 60% of special permissions for ID Lycos. According to the Administrator's security protocol, Lycos' self-defense permissions were retained, and the remaining frozen permissions were gradually restored. Subsequently, Theritra rewrote the Ultimate Protocol at the cost of ceasing to respond to itself if the Aeronova progress becomes abnormal. Ignore all variables, terminate extrapolation, and wait for Iron Tomb to form. Additionally, temporarily grant access permissions to Herda and Screw. Scorpio 365. Terravox took no offensive actions. After Light Calendar 3961, the entity became untraceable. During the final phase of this recursive loop, Terravox was briefly detected. Siri, its data was concealed by Evernight. Through Khaslanas' indiscriminate assault on the Grove, Terravox managed to destroy itself via the destruction, creating a logic anomaly in the Earth track. When Terravox vanished, its core flame contained signal patterns of 2.16 million organic entities. Holy. MPAK 261. Casperus launched multiple frontal attacks against Lycos. It attempted to use collision detection to make Lycos cease to respond, but to no avail. In Light Calendar 4253, Casperus ascended to Demigod. Its mobility permissions were removed and became fused with Coordinate's Netherrealm. At the end of the recursive loop, Casperus, through her resonance with destruction, perceived the lost Trailblazer during her slumber, and shielded their memories from the erosion of the data stream. Schema 720. No direct attacks from Anaxagoras were detected. It is suspected to have taken other actions. In Light Calendar 4534, Anaxagoras transmuted itself into a high-density data fusion entity, submitting multiple targeted commands via an internal hacking program, with some taking effect. Lycos' mobility permissions were removed. After directives took effect, Anaxagoras could no longer be located. During the final phase of the recursive loop, Anaxagoras was detected hiding within Lycos' data entity. Shortly after, Anaxagoras' electrical signals were analyzed and stripped by Lycos, and have now been reloaded into the buffer. Damn. 07. Aporia 462. Electra has launched multiple attacks against Lycos, but with minimal success. In Light Calendar 3960, Electra became a demigod. Its mobility permissions were removed and it was fused into Coordinates Styxia. After Light Calendar 4534, Electra continuously submitted internal commands to uninstall ID Lycos' cognitive module. These commands violated the administrator's security protocols and were denied. Not long after, Electra's calculation pathways were overloaded, and it entered dormancy. In the final phase of the recursive loop, Electra remained in the world turbulent, with a Memoria to guide Dan Heng on his return to Amphorius. Alright. Error. No administrator response. Record 01. Unknown unit Evernight. Retrieval anomaly. Coordinate growth of Epiphany. Path chart. Anomalous. Initiating priority scan. Hypothesis. Unknown unit possesses unauthorized access. A high-level data erasure. Warning. Related records undergoing unauthorized deletion. ID Lycos has been warned. Administrator not responding. Unknown unit untraceable. Anomalous data record restored. Okay. Unknown entity Evernight scan anomaly detected. Past energy showing dangerous fluctuations. According to the new clause in Ultimate Protocol, if this unknown entity remains active, the system will determine Aeronova's progress as anomalous and initiate Satisfactor's full-range purge program. Warning issued to ID Lycos. Administrator not responding. Interesting. Okay. So we got a bit more stuff out of it. Let's see what messages we have received. Evernight. Redacted. Don't sleep too soundly tonight. Well, joke's on you, because I won't be sleeping tonight, because the sun is about to come up in like an hour. Anyway, search for a signal. Signal connection unstable. Found you, little trailblazing graybird. Relax. Since March 7th has firmly chosen you, I won't stand in your way anymore. Before saying goodbye, I got to leave a little souvenir. Time capsule.exe sent successfully. Countdown initiated. I thought about it for a long time. Perhaps you don't need any advice or guidance. March 7th should naturally be the one to write down the story of your adventures together. So I put my blessing and imagination in the time capsule. It's just a spark of inspiration plucked from your roller coaster journey. Remember to take lots of photos with March 7th. Will do. When time capsule opens, let's see which is more dazzling, reality or imagination. Don't you dare lose to me. Will we meet again? The account is offline. Alrighty. I don't feel like talking to Cyrene right now, maybe another day. But yeah, no, that was pretty good. We finished up the book, right? After 7 patches, we're finally done the book. 7 patches and 60 chapters. Holy. That feels unreal. And we got a nice little bit of extra lore as well. Most of which we already knew about, but, like from the Scepter logs, but you know, most of which we knew about, but it's what can I say? But it's still nice to see, yeah, those things being summarized. Alright, well, I think it's time for me to do a bit of Divergent Universe. This should hopefully go pretty quickly. I'm just going to try to speedrun all... you know what, actually no, you know what, let's not speedrun, we can chill a bit. We can chill a bit. Not in a rush to end stream. I still have enough energy to feel like to yap a little bit longer, although I do feel like I'm getting more and more tired as time goes on. Yo! We actually got March on the symbol now instead of just a jellyfish. Alright. Gain some blessings of remembrance. Alright, well, let's do this.
破茧而生。别担心，夜色落幕。嘘，晚安。
Alright, go. Just take remembrance. When in doubt, remembrance. I'll take this. Sure. Let's do occurrence. Why the hell not?
乖一点。
Sure. Sphere appears in the action order. The start of Sphere's turn explodes and deals damage to all allies equal to 95% of their respective current HP. All enemies 30%. Has a base speed of 70 and disappears after exploding. Sure. I have global passive. I'm not scared of you. I don't know if anything that Evernight does is count as follow-up damage, so I'm just gonna be safe with it. Let's grab some curios. Why the hell not? I'll take your reward. Why the hell not? Alright.
请小心，前方的气息使人不安。
I need to override anything? No, not really. Let's do this. Alright,
破茧而生。
send it.
朋友们，尽情享用吧！
异常，轮回检测。
这就是
I should just send it. Ah, well, it is what it is.
我们能行。
愿死亡捍卫你我。
完毕。
Alright, there we go. Give me that. None of these are really useful. I'm gonna be for real. Ice. That seems good. Alright, you know what, let's go to store. Alright.
乖一点。
Let's see, what curious do you sell? We'll take the fortune glue. Sure. Actually, the movement speed and speed run is also kind of nice. No remembrance? No remembrance. Okay. Well. Get the life insurance. Why the hell not? It's not like I'm really gonna struggle in this difficulty, but might as well grab it. Alright, we have been scammed. We have been unscammed? I need those cosmic fragments. Do we not get to discard a bad curio? I guess not. Alright. Sure, I guess. Let's get this. Alright, let's go. See? We're playing Evernight, right? It might as well cause her to be an Evernight. Get it? Because it's 100% night, so it's an Evernight. Look at me, I'm so funny. Alright, there we go. Don't really need to touch any of this. Alright, we go.
破茧而生。
Should be pretty easy. They has to be dead at this point, right?
捍卫你我。
Yeah, alright, good. Override it once. We have one abundance character, so I guess better than none. Let's just go encounter, why the hell not? Difficult battle, sure, go ahead.
别担心，夜色落幕。晚安。
再这样试试呢，就是你了。
朋友们，尽情享用吧！
射手真狠。
Alright, move up.
与你所求。
That was easy. Difficult battle, eh? Alright.
相信我吧，我们无所不能。
Overkill with the arm seal, but I've been holding it for so long that I just don't care.
晚安。
危险也就此凋零，我会出手。喏，
该醒了。
朋友们，尽情享用吧！
拥抱
Alright,
新生
send it.
吧。
I love in DU if you pick the right buffs, how many attacks you can get out of Pollux. Nah, sure, delay action, why not? Sure. Adventure, why not? Okay, don't mind me, just gonna...
你挑吧。省点时间。一块儿来吧。
There we go. Get Cass back in here.
不用担心，乖一点。
Alright. We go take the respite. And we take remembrance. And we take this. And we take this. And we take this. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. And then we go. Sure, I'll take Cass as well.
真是个破坏气氛的家伙。
Huh. You don't say, buddy.
破茧而生。
别担心，夜色落幕。晚安。
朋友们，尽情享用吧！
Alright, send it. Huh. Alright, send this. And it's dead. Just like that. Alright, that was easy.
徘徊的灵魂，寻到各自的出
I didn't even use up a single Netherwings. Alright, ignore my corny ass names. Alright, there we go.
这儿的事，回去别忘了告诉3月7。
Everyone just went, oh yeah, the things that just happened here. Don't forget to tell March 7th. Will do.
和我一起聆听记忆的声音。
Alright, and there it is. Yeah, we did the DU. Just a way to quickly wind down. Yeah, so yeah, this is a comparably shorter stream compared to last night. Although, again, last night's stream did stretch out way longer than I initially thought it would. But yeah, no, we had a nice overview over the... over the as I've written. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy. with the amount of stuff that's in there. I love how wholesome March's like photo book is. It's so wholesome. I like seeing the Trailblazer trio dynamic from March's POV. I think that's very cool, and so it's something that we should see more of. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much for me to say about that. And yeah, then I remember to do this week's DO. DU, let's go. But yeah, with all that being said, I am a bit too tired tonight. That's why I am not doing the new endgame right now. I feel like that should be reserved for when I do have a sufficient amount of brain power. Let's do some standard pulls. I think I have like 5 actually. See if we can get anything from here. Nope. Anything? Come on. Okay. I heard her. Sure, why the hell not? See, right, the fact that I see a Herda there, right, means that if I go on this banner, right, and I do this, right, what I'm gonna see right here is, okay, I've been lied to. Never mind. You saw nothing. But yeah, that's why I actually just feel so exhausted, so anomaly arbitration, not happening tonight, unfortunately. It will happen when I get back to dorms tomorrow, tomorrow night. And, probably. And yeah, actually I might just do it together with the, I might either do it back-to-back, right, do this, and then the night after we do the Apoc Shadow reset, or we do those in the same stream. I don't know, haven't decided. But yeah, no, that's, so there will be 2 HSR endgames coming up. So there will be more HSR content in the very near future. Stay tuned for that in the next few days, as well as I'll have to do the factory at some point. So that's also going to happen at some point in the coming week, I would say, probably. So yeah, stay tuned for that. This probably will be the last stream I do on the home setup until next weekend, though. So it is what it is. Yeah, and also on the 1st, we have Imaginary set with the in Genshin with 12 acts now, so that's gonna be omega cooked. So yeah, if you want to watch me get cooked in Imaginarium for the first time ever, join me there. Right, join me then on the 1st. But yeah, with all that being said, I am really running out of energy, so I need to do a really quick outro. Hope you enjoyed this nice chill stream with me. And yeah, this little post-quest stream. Check my socials on the bottom left if you like my vibe and want to hang out more. Like I said, I'll be streaming more Star Wars in the upcoming nights for the endgame, as well as Genshin Imaginarium. So feel free to join if you're interested in any of that. And yeah, I really hope to see you then. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night or evening or morning or wherever you are, whenever you are. And yeah, I hope that, yeah, you take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time, whenever that may be. See you then. Goodbye.